This is Comic Uno, episode 44, and this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show, and I do worst pick of the week to best pick of the week. So this week I have 17 comics, so 4 digital, all the rest printed. Let's get started. Number 17, worst pick of the week is Ultimate FF, issue 1. I was actually just really disappointed with this issue. It's really weird seeing these Ultimate titles worst pick of the week 2 weeks in a row. Hopefully I won't see that with Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, but I have a little bit more hope with him because we have the same creative team as we did previously, and I've loved that series. But if that goes downhill, I don't know what to say about the Ultimate Universe then. But getting back to Ultimate Comics FF, issue 1, why didn't I like it? I think we jumped into the series a little bit too quickly. We didn't really get introduced to the characters, and since this is a rebooted title, I think we could have been introduced to the characters. I felt like if you read solicits and stuff, you'll understand a little bit what's going on. But we jumped into this way too quickly for something that is a new title, issue 1. But my biggest gripe, what really put this to the bottom, was the art. I thought the art was bad. Example here are the lines on the faces. I don't really like the detail of it. I don't think the colors really work for this issue. It's really mishap of colors, but really the proportions I'm going to show you is really weird. Like Agent Coulson, this is his chest over here. That is pretty weird proportions. Another one I think is Agent Coulson I've had right here, another chest one over there. Weird. Even the last part with Dr. Doom, which I did like that ending with Dr. Doom being like probably the added member because everyone expected Reed, but that looked weird. So I don't know if I'm going to get the next issue. Like, I want to because I like the team. I thought the story was okay. I liked it, but the art ruined it so much for me. I got to give this 2 stars. I couldn't get into the story because the art was really bad. Really disappointed with this one, guys. And the story wasn't great either. I won't say the story was great, but it was a lot better than the art. So I don't know if I'll pick up the next issue. I want to like the series, but maybe I'll just wait it out until like someone says, "Hey, Kat, FF is better with better art and a different artist, and the story's actually getting good." So we'll see, because I wanted to like this series, but yeah. Number 16 is Wolverine the X-Men issue 3, another series that I feel like rebooted just didn't do as well as it did with the regular series. With this series, they're concentrating more on the students, and what I liked about the first story is that, yeah, concentrating more on the X-Men, but we had so much concentration on the students, it worked. Like, it had a great balance. With this, I feel like they're concentrating too much on the students, and the story, I don't really like where it's going. I was just pretty bored with this, the best way to put it. Like, the one thing I really liked was the art for this series. I thought the art's much improved from what we've been getting with the first volume. But the story is just being in Quentin's head, and he's getting the Phoenix. I'm like, I'm so tired of the Phoenix. We just got over the Phoenix. Like, take the Phoenix for a break a little bit. And then somehow Wolverine gets in his mind. It just didn't work. I don't know. The story just wasn't there for me. And honestly, I think I'm going to drop Wolverine and X-Men for a little while, see where it goes. I don't know, it's hard because I'm dropping all these X-Men titles. I think the only thing I have left is all new X-Men. And I might get Amazing X-Men with the friendly neighbor, the superhero friends. I might get that issue. I don't know. I might stick with Wolverine X-Men for a couple more issues, but I just did not like this arc so far. And I liked the previous issues. They were good, but it doesn't have that same magic. It didn't have that humor that Jason Aaron really added to the Wolverine X-Men that I enjoyed. This is just a weird story. Or, you know what, not a little boring story, I would say. So I'm going to give it 2.5. Art was good, but I just don't know where the story's going with that one. So I don't know if I'll pick up the next issue. It'll have to be a decision I make. Number 15 is a digital comic I have, which is Starmage, issue 1 from IDW. This I actually got on a whim. So on a whim that it wasn't even on my pull list. It wasn't even on my article. I saw a preview on CBR and I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. And it was okay. I just thought it was very generic. It was this guy, he's bullied in school. He has a crush on the most popular girl in school and she likes him. And now the bullies posted him onto a flagpole and we find out he has superpowers. Very generic. The art very cartoony. I had to give it 2.5. I just thought it was just very generic. That's the way to put it. So it wasn't horrible. It just wasn't. It's just nothing special there either. So I'm not going to get the next issue. It was okay. Alright, so number 14 is another digital comic, which is $6 Million Man, Season 6, Issue 2, which was okay. I thought it was a good issue. I liked the art, it was good, but nothing that totally interested me either. The main stories, you know, the OS, you know, the Bionics program, they're done, they're over. What I really got this for, because I'm a big Bionic Woman fan of the 70s show. So I was like, oh, maybe she'll be in here and it won't be as bad as the other comic because that's not Jamie Somers. So maybe we'll get Bionic Woman. We get like references of her. Maybe I'll get the issue where maybe she'll be in, guest starring in. I'll get those issues. But I don't know. Steve Austin doesn't totally do it for me. I didn't love this $6 Million Man. So yeah, it was okay though. The story, if you like $6 Million Man, I think you'll enjoy it. But for me, I'm more of a Bionic Woman fan. But yeah, it was okay. I'm going to give it 3 stars. It didn't really make me want to get the next issue, but it was a good read for the second issue. And it was very new reader friendly too, I thought. So if you haven't watched the show, I think it's still okay to read. I have seen the show, so I wasn't lost because I've seen the show. I haven't seen every episode. Alright, I think we're up to number 13, which is Supergirl, issue 30. Good issue. I liked it. You know, with Supergirl, it's like I kind of have to get it because if you're reading Red Lanterns, it's very much a tie-in. Even in the end, it's like, find out what happens here in Red Lanterns, find out what happens here in Supergirl. So it's very connected. So I actually like Supergirl a little bit more in Red Lanterns. I think the art's a little bit better, and it's pretty much the same story, honestly. But it's just Supergirl-centric, which, again, not totally a big fan that Supergirl's a Red Lantern or Supergirl in New 52 at all. But it was good. I liked it. I think we get to see a little bit why she's rageful. We have a good story arc going on with Supergirl wanting revenge, but hey, they have to help Blitz first. So it was good. It was definitely the weaker one of what I liked, though, this week. So I'll give it a 3.5. I thought it was good. It's still sticking around with it because I'm getting Red Lanterns. But if I wasn't getting Red Lanterns, if it wasn't connected, I'd probably drop this because it's very similar in Red Lantern. It's pretty much the same story going on, but it seems like it's continuing from each other. And I still don't know if I'm really a fan of Supergirl being a Red Lantern. I don't know. I feel like they're so lost with this character. They don't even know what they're doing with her half the time. So yeah, still annoyed, but I don't even think of her as the Supergirl I like. I just think of her as another character. So I'll give this 3.5. So that was number 13? Pretty sure. Let me just double check. Yes, so that was number 13, and we're up to number 12, which is Justice League, issue 29. Pretty good issue. I liked it. Nothing that blew my mind either, though. If it's kind of old, I would say, because we've gone so much Forever Evil. It's so delayed that it's like, I know it's delayed. I know this story shouldn't exist, so let's move on. But this was already delayed. That's why we have this issue, because Justice League was already delayed an issue. So they're like, oh, let's just put out our delayed issue while every other issue is delayed with other titles. But yeah, I really liked the Metal Man last issue. I thought the last issue was better than this. I thought the origin was a little better. But if you like Cyborg, you're gonna really like this issue. It's Cyborg vs. Grid, and I thought it was a good battle. Still like the Metal Man. I just didn't think it was as good as that first issue. I think there's more heart in that issue than this. This is more action, like here's Grid, let's get this over with already. That's how it kind of felt. But it's good art. I thought it was good. Just out of everything that came out this week, I thought this was a little bit one that I didn't totally enjoy. But I still liked it. I think it's worth picking up. Good art. I liked it. I liked the story. It just didn't blow my mind or anything. So I'm going to give that a 3.5. Now we're up to issue 11, which is a Comic Frontline exclusive, which I am happy to see higher on the list than it has been, which is Nova, issue 16. I like this story. I think it's better than what we've been getting with the story arc. I think this is definitely the best issue of the story arc. The story was actually pretty good. We get to see Nova. He had to get this guy to be beaten. He has the sword. The sword will like destroy worlds, and he's teaming up with why can't I think of Beta Ray Bill? He's teaming up with him, and you know he's making mistakes and everything throughout the whole issue, but he does defeat him, and I thought it was fun. It was a fun issue. We get to see other adventures like this other guy who stole that helmet from a couple issues ago. We meet up with him again. His wife was hysterical. His wife was just attacking him. It's like, you did wrong. Just give the boy the helmet. So you know we did have that fun in this issue that I felt has been missing in the past, let's say, 2 issues. So I did like we had a little fun here. And then in the end, we get to see that the story arc's pretty much over. Beta Ray Bill's like, hey, I like you, but you didn't do wrong. You're a little bit of a screw up, but hey, that's who you are. And then in the end, I thought it was a really cool cliffhanger that was like, oh, you have a home, and he's getting evicted. So he's been gone, now he has to help his family. So I did like that. I thought it was a good issue. I thought it was a lot better than what we've been getting. It's not as good as that, you know, really cool story arcs with Nova we've been getting with, I think, the balancing of Earth and the balancing of space, which is what they do great with the series. And the art's a little bit, you know, skinny lined. I like the cartoony art for the series, which I think we're getting with the next issue. But I thought this was a very good issue for this arc. I'm going to give it 3.5. I was actually impressed with it because I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. So 3.5, I liked it. Yeah, so that's number 11 on my list. Next issue is, or next one is number 10, Harley Quinn, issue 5. Yeah, this is a weird issue because I had fun with it. I laughed a lot. Harley had a dream about hot dogs because she ate all these chili dogs. What else was really funny in this issue? Like, she has some really fun moments with this. You know, she had her hammer. There's a lot of fun moments here. She goes on stage, tries to beat up this gorilla that she thought was real. So we have that fun that we like with Harley, but the story was a little off, I thought. Is her trying to help this old guy that she met last issue, try to get revenge or like try to kill somebody, and that's what the issue's about. And the cliffhanger is like, oh, I don't really care who she's attacking. So same thing as that last issue. I didn't love the cliffhanger, but I love the issue. So we're continuing that story where it's just okay. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I thought it was an okay issue, but I had fun with it overall. I thought it was a funny issue, but the story could have had a little bit more of an improvement with this issue. So I'll give it 3.5. Still had fun, but it wasn't as good as that last issue. That last issue was hilarious, and the story was perfect. So it's a roller coaster with Harley, because some issues are great, and then some are like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's never always perfect, which is kind of a bummer. Alright, number 9 is Batman, issue 30. I like this issue a lot more than I've been liking Zero Year, which is weird, but I am liking this a little bit more. It's so hard to rate Batman, because Batman with Zero Year, it's moving at a snail's pace. It really is, and I'm getting a little bit tired of it. And I think you've seen that in other reviews. I keep saying, I'm just tired of Zero Year, I just want to get out of it. And this could have been a better graphic novel than it would have been a single issue story. And I still stand with that. Like, I think this would have been a better graphic novel. I think it would have flowed a lot better, and it would have been an enjoyable read. But why I'm so torn apart and why I still give it a good grade, why it is a little higher than you might think, it's because of the art and the dialogue. The dialogue is great. I love it. I think Scott Snyder does a great job. Art is beautiful. Greg Capello with his art. I never want to see him leave this title. Love it. Coloring is great. It's something different. It's what brings life to this book. And I thought this issue was better because we're moving a little bit. Riddler is giving Gotham a chance to answer these, or, you know, give a riddle that he can't guess. We're seeing Batman have that final act. He's ready to defeat Riddler. So it's moving a little bit further, but it's still very slow. And that's the best way to put it. So it's a solid issue, but I don't see Zero Year being like, oh my god, it's Zero Year, just blew my mind. And I don't think it will. I think if this was a graphic novel, it could be a higher thing because it'd be all in one read. And if you haven't read Zero Year yet, you want to, wait for the trade. It's really hard to read single issues, and especially if you're a Batman fan. And I'm a total Batman fan. I've been loving Batman Eternal, love the Bat Family. I just want to see present day Batman. Like, I know what happened with Batman Zero Year. Like, I don't really need to know anymore. So yeah, it's just kind of hard to read once you know that there could be current stories going on in this series. So I'm gonna give it 4 stars though. I thought this was actually a lot better than what we've been getting. So 4 stars. Still, I recommend the issue, but I definitely, if you haven't been reading it, get in trade, okay? Because that's my total recommendation to you guys. Number 8 is a digital comic, which is Godstorm Hercules, Payne. I guess this is the first issue of Hercules. It seemed pretty new to me. I've been trying to get a lot of the issue 1s with Zenoscope. Been reading Robin Hood. I know it's a great company, and I've been really enjoying their stuff I have read. So I was like, alright, let's give Hercules a try, because this is a new issue 1, and it seemed pretty interesting. And I think that there's this first scene where the Hercules is at a diner, and I just thought it worked so well. Like, the first scene, him meeting his brother, he's a cop, you know, Hercules doing bad things, so he doesn't love his brother, but they share the same mother, so, I I really liked it. I think we grew to like his character from that first scene, and then he's getting in trouble, and in the end we have a really cool cliffhanger, which I'm not going to spoil, but it just gravitates, it really pulls the series through and say, yeah, I'm going to get the second issue. So I thought it was really well introduction to the character. Cliffhanger was great. I think Pat Chan did again. I think it was such a solid issue. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. Really enjoyed this one. Definitely getting the next issue. It surprises me. And one thing about Zenescope, it usually does female leads, so it's kind of cool to see a male lead for Zenescope and see how they do that. So I really enjoyed the issue. So now we're up to number 7, which is Shotgun Wedding. Issue 3, Shotgun Wedding. So I've been loving this miniseries. I think it's so great. And this issue was just another solid issue. Really enjoyed it. I've been saying the art's great for it because it is. Love the black and white. It's just a fun assassin wedding story. It's a really fun series that I totally recommend. I think it's under the radar. It's a 4-issue miniseries. Comes out every week. May get the trade for it. I don't know, but I really recommend it. It's been so much fun reading it. It's been a pleasant surprise. I hope more people are reading it. And we're getting closer to our main character being outed as an assassin to his wife. She gets kidnapped during their wedding from the ex-fiance. Just a lot of fun. I can't wait to read the last issue. So yeah, art is great. Love it. And the story is really fun. So that's the best way to put Shotgun Wedding. Such a fun miniseries. So be sure to pick that out. Pick that up. Under the radar. Fun. Alright. So number 6 is Smallville Lantern, issue 1. Another under-the-radar series that I wish more people were picking up. Even if you don't read Smallville, if you're a Superman fan, it's so great. I didn't expect I was going to say Smallville. I'm not Lois Lane, I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I was expecting Clark to not be a Green Lantern. I thought it was just like kind of it's Green Lantern's coming. I didn't expect him to be a Green Lantern in this issue, but he is. And one cool thing is that there's a lot of lanterns here. They don't just use John Stewart or Hal Jordan. They use everybody, and it seems pretty new too. We have Kyle. We have Hal is just a parallax, so it's pretty much in that time period. And John Stewart's there too. So if you like all your lanterns, they're here. And Clark gets the lantern ring, and they have to deal with it. And it's a fun series, and the art I think is improving so much. It used to be a little bit sketchier. I really like the art. It's such a fun series, and it does stuff with Superman you wouldn't see. It does stuff with the show Smallville that you couldn't see on TV, and now they're doing it in the comic books, like Green Lantern and Batman, Wonder Woman. It's so much fun, and it has that Smallville twist to it. Totally recommend this issue. I had a lot of fun with it. Can't wait to see where it goes, and yeah, I mean, it's just such a great series. It's such an under radar great series. So if you want to see Superman as a Green Lantern, it's awesome. I love it. So that's number 6. Number 5. So now we're up to top 5 here. 5 is Morning Glories issue 38. Very solid issue. I almost gave it 4.5 because the cliffhanger really shocked me. Because one of my favorite, I'm going to just say here, it's cliffhanger. Spoiler alert, one of my favorite Morning Glory issues is when Zoe dies. And we kind of get an aftermath of this. And what I love about Morning Glories is that it's so confusing and you just try to figure it out. And it's one of those series you have to read those like ending titles. They have this Morning Glories Academy study guide, a study hall, like read that. It explains the whole issue, explains exactly what's going on, like what could happen about the whole time-space continuum stuff. Read that. It explains a lot, and but Morning Glories is such a fun series. My favorite indie series, one of my favorite series of all time. Oh, no, not all the time, but what's going on right now. I just love Morning Glories. It's better to read in trade, but I could never wait for the trade, and I think Nick Spencer and Joe Eisman are doing such a great job at this series. But with this issue, we get to see where Abraham is. Is he still alive? Yeah. We get to see Ike. You know him. He's like back to his own pompous ways. And he's like, hey, Jade, I'm Ike. You could just hang out with me. But you see Ike has his daddy issues. It's hard for him to express his feelings. And now he has to find his father. And because the head of the school are trying to force him to find his father, will he be able to do this? And he's getting beat up because of it. So he does see where his father is, and we get to see this, you know, all the magical stuff that's going on in Morning Glory's Academy, and what makes this series so much fun is like, how did that happen? How's there time travel? So it's fun to see that mystery. But the last part of the issue is that Abraham's back, he's with some of his students, but who is with them is Zoe. What? Zoe died! She got shot, and now she's back. But what the study guide explained, this could be in a different time period. Morning Glory's Academy could be happening at a different time. Maybe our regular time is a little bit in the past. What we saw with Casey, and now what we're seeing with Zoe. So this could be Zoe from the past. It doesn't mean that Zoe's alive, or maybe she is alive somehow. But seeing Zoe again, so much fun. I love the character. I was upset when she died, but it's like, oh, you know, someone died. There's these high stakes here. So I like the Abraham story. I love the way this comic is crafted. I love the tension throughout the whole series. And what I always say, love the brightness for this mystery story. Usually stories like this are very dark, but I love the art for it. I love the brightness. Love this issue. Great cliffhanger. If you're not reading Morning Glories, get the trades. Such a great series. And then if you're reading in trades, I kind of would say stick with the trades because it's a little easier. But for me, I gotta get these single issues. I love them. I have every issue, and I've been reading it since issue 1. Just such a great, fun series that needs to turn into a TV show. I've been saying that, but that's a great cliffhanger. It's a little confusing, the series, but you really gotta dig deep. And I think that's why it's a little bit better reading trade. And once the series does end, I'll probably read everything in back one more time and say, oh yeah, that's what happened. That's what they're referencing. Because there are a lot of things that they've referenced from later issues. So, pick up Morning Glories. Very good series. Alright, so now we're up to number 4, which is Sinestro, issue 1. This issue really shocked me. I wasn't really like, oh my god, I'm excited for Sinestro. But the issue made me think that this might be the best Green Lantern series out there right now, because it felt very Jeff Johns to me in a way. Because it felt that they have a direction, which is great, because like no Green Lantern series has a direction now. I mean, Red Lanterns does, but they're still a little bit stumbling. But with Sinestro, they really have a great direction, and I liked they didn't forget things. It's not like Sinestro's just going back to Sinestro Corps. I'm back, guys. I'm forgetting everything to happen. They don't do that. They really show where Sinestro's at, what he's thinking, and why he might have to join the Sinestro Corps, why he might just be around them for a little bit. And then he has to be with another person, Lissa Dark, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm gonna just make sure. Oh, Lissa Drack. She's she's the Lantern pretty much, so he's got to hang out with her. And I love the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger really made this issue for me too, because this story is Sinestro's, not the Sinestro Corps. It's his story, and we get to see his daughter is trapped. So will he save her, and will the daughter forgive him? Well, can they make a family? Because that's Sinestro's only hope all the time. He's like, can I have a family? Like, these are my people. He cares about them, and this is what reenacts his fear, what brings him back to be part of, I would say, the Sinestro Corps. I love the dialogue. I love the narration. I thought this was written well. The art was great, and right now this I think could be my favorite Green Lantern series. At least I'm sticking with. A lot of them I dropped. I dropped the regular Green Lantern series because I just can't read it anymore, and I'm glad I'm getting a fill with Sinestro because this is such a good first issue. Really shocked me. I gotta give this 4.5 stars. Really enjoyed Sinestro. Can't wait for this next issue. I love that issue. It reminded me the most of what we had with Jeff Johns. Alright, so now we're up to number 3, which is Batman Eternal, issue 2. If you saw my in-depth review, I was shrieking that next issue is going to be Stephanie Brown. One more week, guys. One more week. But I love the first issue, Batman Eternal, and I still love the second issue. It didn't quite make to my pick of the week, but really enjoyed Batman Eternal this week. We get to see the aftermath of Commissioner Gordon being arrested, and people having thoughts on it. I think my favorite one had to be Vicky Val. I would say she's like the cat of Batman instead of Superman. So you could think about her in that way. She's a reporter, and we've seen her a lot in Prenup too, but haven't seen her that much in New 52. So I like her interactions. Like, I don't know if we should post this. Is Commissioner Gordon, like, do you really think he did this? So I like, and then someone's like, no, post it, because we need it. We need to have the story. So it's interesting to see who believes that Commissioner Gordon did it and who didn't. And of course, Batman believes, hey, you know, Jim, I know you didn't do it. So he's gonna try to get his name back, and we do find out who is behind it. I believe this is just a figurehead. There's someone else truly behind it, but we get to see kind of like the Kingpin tombstone of Batman, which is Carmine Falcone. He's the one who is behind this. I don't think he's totally behind it. We'll have to see. Which I enjoyed that. I really liked the cliffhanger. Again, I thought this was a very well structured issue. I wanted to see a little bit more of the Bat family interaction. You know, with Commissioner Gordon being arrested, but we get to see like panel by panel. I think as issues go on, especially Barbara, we'll see more of an interaction. I think that's coming in issue 4. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a very good aftermath for Commissioner Gordon's death, and art was great. I gotta give it 4.5. Really enjoyed it. Didn't make it quite to pick of the week this week, but I'm sure next week will be great. It's really interesting to see where Batman Eternal will lie, because it's been such a great weekly series, and it comes out every week. So will it be pick of the week? Will it not? We'll have to see. This week it wasn't. It was number 3, but really enjoyed this issue. I can't wait to see more Batman Eternal. Been loving this series, and I'm really happy it's a weekly series. Alright, number 2 and 1, I gotta say, was really tough for me. I changed it midway when I was doing a review. I was like, you know what? I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more. So, what got bumped to number 2? We'll have to see. Hold on. Number 2 is... Da-da-dun, da-da-dun-dun. Superior Spider-Man, the final, issue 31, series finale. Why did I make this number 2? I talked very in-depth about my gripes and what I loved about this issue. Why is this so high? Some people might ask that. I thought this was better than a lot of issues that came out this week. I thought a lot more happened. As you know, I like the plants that are, the seeds that are planted with the whole goblin stuff. But then I was a little disappointed that, you know, the goblin thing didn't really end it. I thought the Goblin Nation was very hyped, and then in the end it's like, oh, he was Norman the whole time. Oh, he's still alive. Oh, he's just coming up with another plan. So it felt like any other Goblin story. So I was a little disappointed with that. But then there were some really cool planted seeds, like with Normie and Liz and Peter just being back. And I think that's Peter just being back really rose this issue for me. Just seeing him back in action with a full issue. That's why I really had to give this a 4.5. But then there's those gripes that I couldn't give it 5 stars. Again, was it very rushed? Yeah, I thought it was. Was I upset with Mary Jane? Yeah, I was. I give her props in that web shooter issue, but then she goes back and just annoys me again, because I love Mary Jane, don't get me wrong. Really, that's why I'm being so critical against her, is because I love her character. And what I loved about her, I'm going to explain, I did this a lot in my in-depth review, but I'm going to explain. This is another gripe of mine. In this issue, we get to see that she says, hey, Peter, I don't care if you're, you know, taken over by Dr. Octopus. I can't deal with this anymore. She's going to stay in New York, so we're going to see Mary Jane, but she's not dealing with it. And Peter's like, hey, I thought we had like a thing going on. I thought we were getting back to it, which they were, and Mary Jane could agree with that. They were getting back to it, and she just doesn't care anymore. She's like, hey, bye. Like, I know your power and responsibility, but I gotta go. With Carly, I kind of understand that a little bit more, because that's who Carly is, and she just got taken over by a goblin. Mary Jane didn't get taken over by anybody. She was just kind of fooled by Dr. Octopus. And one thing I love about Mary Jane's character is that she was always loyal. I think she was always the strength to Peter, and I think the best half for Peter. And we've seen that in the past, and even if they can't get married, why can't they be together? At least, come on. Why can't superheroes be happy? But yeah, I just didn't really like the way Mary Jane acted in this issue. I wish she kind of understood to say, hey, I could be your best friend still, right? Or like, be angry a little. Yeah, sure, be angry, but don't be unreasonable. And I thought she was very unreasonable in this issue. So that kind of pissed me off with Mary Jane. But other than that, like, it's such a hard issue to review, because I really enjoyed this issue. I love seeing Peter back. There's some really great planted seeds, but then there's those gripes with Mary Jane, and maybe it was a little rushed. So, again, it's so conflicted. That's why it couldn't be number 1, but I still love this issue. It's like, I love and hate it. It's so weird. I'm going to give it a 4.5 though, because I thought it was a very good ending. It was a very, you know, compared to everything else that came out, I thought this was a very, very good issue. But yeah, comparing it all to Superior Spider-Man, was it a letdown? I don't know if it was a letdown. It's just the direction the story's going in, I guess. That's the best way to put it. And we'll see what happens in Amazing Spider-Man. But yeah, I was a little disappointed with this issue, but still 4.5. It's a weird mixed bag. It's a mixed bag issue. But yeah, you can hear more about that in my in-depth review. Don't want to go too much into it. But number 1, something that I truly loved, and I thought was structured really well, and I thought it had a great cliffhanger. I truly loved this issue, and that was Miss Marvel issue 3. Yeah, Miss Marvel made it to number 1. One thing I really like about Miss Marvel, and I think it continues to do this, it's fresh, it's original. We're seeing it in a different perspective. And I think we get that with Miss Marvel totally. We get a great cliffhanger. We learn a little bit more about her character, Kamala's character. And I like that, you know, and I like the process that's going through her mind. Like, she's being famous, this Miss Marvel character being famous, but she's trying to control her powers. She doesn't know what to do with them. Who does she tell? She tries to tell her other friend that she's not really talking to right now. And then she sees that the convenience store is being held hostage in a way, and it's actually the guy's brother, so he wasn't really trying to kidnap, he wasn't trying to steal anything. He was trying to steal money, but he wasn't actually trying to, like, kill anybody. He's like, yeah, the gun's not even loaded, and he made a mistake. The gun actually was loaded, and we get a really cool cliffhanger with Miss Marvel being shot. I thought that was a really cool ending. I thought it was a great cliffhanger. One gripe I had with the issue probably is the art. Like, I feel like the powers could be a lot cooler if the art is like, oh, here's a skinny hand, you know? But I'm getting used to it. I really like the coloring for the series. And again, I think Miss Marvel is just a really fun, fresh look on an origin story. And I think I'm a sucker for origin stories. Actually, I know I'm a sucker for origin stories. So seeing this, I just really like Miss Marvel's character. I think we're learning so much more about her. And I think we got so much information in one issue. So that's why I had to give it number 1. It was number 2 before. I had a Superior number 1. But I think I had more gripes with Superior, so it couldn't be number 1. Miss Marvel, I really didn't have any gripes. I thought it was a really great issue. And fresh look. So I gotta give Miss Marvel number 1. Really enjoyed this series. I know it's not for everybody, but I really like the character. So yeah, that's all my picks. Tell me if you disagree or agree in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Of course, I have Comic Uno episode 45 next week. We're so close to 50. Can't believe it. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. And please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I will see you guys later. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Random Situations. And don't forget to like my Facebook page. And this is Comic Frontline and Comic Uno.